discussion session, and after some discussion we can finish up the session today. And next morning we will have the 2 or 3 topics. The first one is the who am I? That is the some major topic of the spiritual world. And the next one is the confirmation of our understanding. That is also some important, because the as the understanding is important, the confirmation of understanding is also important. So that is the final topic. So today this topic is over, and we can conclude with some discussion. If anybody comes to me,
anybody wants to ask question, please come, sir.
So what is?
Like to get recorded, so the advantages to others. It is live telecast is going on.
You expressed that there is a gap between emotion and our physical reaction. But many a time, our instinctive response will be impulsive and compulsive. Like, before thinking itself, I would have hit the other person. When it comes to sex also, it happens. It's very impulsive and compulsive. Is that due to samskara only, or can we do anything about it, or we have to accept it and live with it?
So actually there is a gap, but in the first instance I have told that if it is related to your own child, you are immediately use your emotion to your own child, but you are not immediately express your emotion to your relative child. So naturally some gap is there, but sometimes you may ignore the gap. So because the gap is very narrow, but you can make use of the narrow gap or may not make use of the narrow gap. But gap is there. If you watch yourself, you can have the gap. But at this, for example, in case of some other person also, immediately you may express your anger. When you are anger upon the other person, immediately you express the anger, but you will have the result of the anger also. Because there is some, but at the same time, some unnecessary quarrel with the other person will be there. So if you have the quarrel or fight with the other person, the next day the same situation will happen again. For example, the same situation will happen in the next day also. So naturally, immediately whenever you have the anger upon the other person, the previous day experience will come to your help. Because in the previous day we have the unnecessary fight with the other person, so we should not entertain such kind of fight today. So unless you have the gap between there, you cannot have the memory to separate yourself. So the memory will have the help unless then you have the help. So as you have the gap between the emotion and the expression, then only your memory and knowledge will come to your help. So it is naturally there, you can find out for yourself.
Here, some are endowed with a good intellect, so they can control their emotion and action. At least I am not gifted with a very good intellect. Hence, that deep understanding hasn't happened. I'm born with a limited IQ. What should I do?
So by experience you can have. For example, whenever you are on walk in the night, you tread upon some rock. For example, you dashed upon a rock in the night. So in the next day also, whenever you reach the same place, naturally you will have the idea. You have the mind it in the mind. Then with the help of the experience, you can correct yourself.
Thank you, sir.
You want to ask question?
I have a lot of questions.
Please don't bother. The whole purpose is this discussion. And here I was reading discussion.
very basic level, sir, basically. So what I am trying to understand is, like when you say enlightenment is not controlling your emotions. So it's like even if I am enlightened, I can have all sorts of emotion. So what is the difference between me and you?
So actually the emotion comes to deal with the situation. So if you do not have any emotion, you cannot deal with the situation. For example, in the analogy, some lunatic person enter into your house. If you do not have any anger or fear, you cannot deal with the lunatic person. So it comes to deal with the situation. So but at the same time, you need not deal with your emotion. So if you can make use of that emotion to deal with the situation.
Okay, so whenever the emotion comes, it's like, no, I read Bhagavad Gita and all. So they say it is something called as a prashad buddhi, like if something happens, it is happening, whatever, whether it is good or bad, it is given by God, accept it and go ahead. Instead of thinking why it happened, what happened and all. Is it something like that?
So what is the meaning of that? If you take it as the prasad of God, what's the meaning of that? That means you don't have any right, you do not have any work upon that. So that is the meaning of that. So if you accept everything that you have no work upon the emotion, all emotion goes away naturally. Then you need not correct any emotion. So all emotions are momentary. In a fraction of a second, it will be over. You need not create. You will not remove any emotion from yourself. It will go away. It will disappear on its own. You need not fight with that. But at the same time, if it is necessary, you can make use of that. If it is not necessary, you need not take it off that. If you do not take it, it will go away from you.
So that's what I say. If I need to control my emotions, take it as something like a prasada. If you are a spiritual person, like have a prasada buddhi saying that okay, everything happens for good, you don't need to worry about that much. And the second one regarding the intellectual stuff, right? So is it something related to karma yoga? Like do your duty, don't expect anything out of it.
So karma yoga means the whatever in the actions, you have to make it as a yoga. So yoga means you have to one with the action. You have to put your mind, for example, if you do any act, any work, you have to put your mind in that work. If you do not put your mind and if you are thinking somewhere else than doing some work, you cannot complete the work. So whenever you do some work, you have to wholeheartedly you have to be in the work. You have to put your mind, heart, everything in the work. Then only you can succeed in the work. So you have to put yourself in the work. That is karma yoga. So at the same time, that means if you put your emotion, everything, if you put your mind in the emotion, then you are not putting yourself in the work. So you have to disregard yourself psychologically and put all your psychological thing in the work or everything, then that is karma yoga. But all work must be done as the work of karma yoga.
So wholeheartedly I will do the work,
Yeah.
but attached to that I will not expect anything out of it. Is that there or not?
So attachment means only the result. So the result is but result is different from the work. So result may happen, that is a natural happen, but we have to work. The work may be hard, but you are interested upon only the result. But at the same time, we have to be interested upon the work itself. So work itself, we have to, then only the yoga comes. So whenever the yoga comes, you are interested upon the work, not upon the result. If you are interested only upon the result, then you will not be interested upon the work. So you have to be interested upon the work. That means yoga alone, you have to place everything in the work. That is the yoga. So when you are doing everything in the form of yoga, then you are not interested. As a result, everything will be there, but you are not giving more interest to the result, but the more interest to the work. Then only it can be taken as the yoga.
Yeah, so keep doing your work wholeheartedly and leave the result to God. That's all.
But naturally,
that may come, but don't focus on the result.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Between her and you, and what's the difference between a normal person and an enlightened person?
So normal person will struggle against himself, but he is not struggling about himself. But we have to struggle with the thing, with the external work. We can put our mind to the external work, but we are not putting our mind to our emotions. So we can use our mind to the work. But the ordinary person, he will use mind against the mind. We need not work against the mind. We should not use our mind against the mind. We have to use our mind to the work. We have to use our mind to the work, but we should not use our mind against the mind.
So basically, if I have the prasada buddhi and then I'm following my karma,
Yeah.
there's nothing different. Like I need to go for something like.
So when you
already enlightened.
but at the same time, you are taking the prasada buddhi as a ordinary thing. Actually, if you have the prasada buddhi will end in liberation. So you have to. You have to understand, you have to feel the liberation aspect of your mind also. When you are in the prasada buddhi, that means do not fight with yourself. If you allow everything in your mind, the mind will flow like everything, just like a living river. Then you can feel the living river of yourself, then you will be in a different plane. You are living in a different plane. And everything will be carried out. For example, in certain area, all gutters will flow into the river. But even though the gutters will flow into the river will clean everything. In the course of it running, it will clear everything. In this way, your mind will clear itself. Your total mind will be a living river, and everything will be all right in a natural flowing.
So even though I say very simply like prasada buddhi, I know it is very difficult. Like we cannot accept. See, normally when we are in the process, right, initially it will be very difficult. Saying that whatever happens, it is only for good. That thinking itself, no, it takes some time. Immediately I cannot be like you. But I am in the process. What I am saying, slowly if I could get into that practice, one day I will also be enlightened.
But here you have to understand. The understanding is important. Here, you understand is that there is no necessity to correct yourself psychologically. So, if you understand you need not correct yourself psychologically, then only give freedom to the mind. For the beginner, as a beginner, you can start like that, taking everything as the prasada buddhi. That is only by having a theory like that, and you apply the theory, apply the philosophy like that. But it is not a philosophy, it is an understanding. If you understand you have no work in this psychological world, you accept your mind as a natural one. So if you are able to accept the mind natural one, the mind will flow naturally. So that will be the end of that.
Okay, acceptance is understood, but what I am saying is if my emotions I don't need to control, but the way I behave to others, everything has some value, right?
But
and similarly, if somebody is hurting me, even then I should accept it. Whatever happens around me, that also I need to accept it.
So acceptance means that is psychologically you have to accept. You may have the feeling of hurt. You have to accept the feeling of hurt. But at the same time, you should not accept the action of the other person. You try to separate the other person. You have to try to, either you have to separate the other person, or either you have to leave away from the other person. You have to, externally you have to change, make some change. But at the same time, you need not expect a change within yourself. You have to take it as a natural one. If anybody says like that, the hurt feeling is natural. You have to accept as a natural sequence of the thing.
So in whatever situation where I don't have any control, I need to accept it. And if I have some option, I should try to change.
Externally you have to try to change, but psychologically you do not try to change. Okay.
I am sitting in a room and I don't have anything else to do. Okay. Now what happens is some thoughts keep on coming. Thoughts keep on coming in my mind, one after the other. First a good thought comes and a bad thought comes. It keeps on going again and again. Okay. Earlier what I used to do is the bad thoughts, it used to have a lot of impact on me. But nowadays, after going through your teachings, I understand that these bad thoughts do not have any impact on the physical doing, or whatever I need to do, it does not have any impact. So with that understanding, what happened was I started feeling better and I became better day by day. That's what has happened. Now, what I am trying to understand is this thought process that is running, if a bad thought comes, is it okay to ignore it like that? Again, I want to confirm you. Because at times, no, I used to ignore it and I am feeling better, okay. But I want to again confirm, like, whether is it okay if those bad thoughts come? Is it okay?
You yourself got the proof that it is okay.
So it's the mind functions that way. So I need not interfere with that, right?
Yeah.
And as I started realizing that, after a few days, I think like my bad thoughts also have come down actually. I don't know what happened. It has drastically reduced actually. Is it?
Whenever we are fighting with anything, thereby we are giving strength to that. Otherwise, everything will lose its energy. Everything will be going away from yourself.
That is first question. Another question what I have is, I have got a lot of doubt on what enlightenment means actually, because different religions tell different way. For example, if you take Christianity, they tell in a different way. If it is Buddhism, it is different. In Hinduism, they say something. But your concept of telling how the mind functions, understanding it, and what is liberation, that's a different concept. So in Hinduism, if you take, what they tell is the Atma, whatever is there in the body, and if it does not take any birth, that's called as enlightenment. That's what they tell. We cannot realize that Atma, I mean like whether it takes birth or whether it will not take birth, we are not sure of it actually. So again I am trying to understand like from where we can find out what is the real definition of enlightenment.
So actually, they are tomorrow we are having in a different way we are going to explain. But today we can limit ourselves within the psychological work and the external work. Tomorrow we have a different kind of explanation. Who am I? What is the nature of Atma? What is consciousness and what is awareness? Tomorrow topic is that. We can elaborately deal with that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, when your mind is experiencing some emotional feelings, your mind is engaged in such emotions. So, there is a challenge to come out of it and perform your necessary things. So, how do you come out of that engagement and try and do the necessary routine or the work one has to do? There is a challenge, right? Like all of us know that we have to try to let go of that feeling or that emotional imbalance we are going through. But the challenge is how much time we take or how do we come out of it and still try to do the necessary things that one has to do. Like for example, even the office work what you gave, like we might be experiencing something bad which is happening. But at the same time, we have to perform our duty at that particular time on that particular day. And this is an everyday process. Every day you have something to deal with. So how do we overcome that challenge?
So here the main thing is that we have to understand how to disregard yourself psychologically. So if you understand that means we are thinking that some good emotions are good, we have to be always in the peace of mind, we should be always in a happy mind, that is the wrong idea, because thereby we are giving importance to the mind. So we have some understanding that all emotions are good. That means everything is good, everything is natural. Then you give total importance to the mind in just such a way, thereby we are disregard the mind because there is no work. So whenever there is no work in the psychological world, all our work is only the external world. When you have, so whenever we do not have any work in the psychological world, we need not look at our mind. We need not look at the emotions of our mind. So our concern must be only to the external world alone. If your total concern, if your whole concern to the external world, some relative emotion will come from yourself. So in the analogy of the dog, naturally when the dog faces the enemy, naturally the fear comes. But it disregard the fear. If we totally disregard the fear, some necessary emotion comes to deal with the situation. So in this way, all our emotion comes to deal with the situation. No emotions comes to entertainment you, nor to disturb you. So all emotion comes to deal with the situation. There is no emotion to the entertainment, for your disturbance. So all emotion is related to the external world. So you can, if it is related to the external world, if it is necessary to make use of that, you can make use of that. In the case of lunatic person, you can make use of anger, you can make use of fear. If it is related, you can make use of that. For the main thing is that you have to make use of the situation. But psychologically, you have no work. You have to understand no work is there. Sometimes you may have some sorrow or fear, you may coming repeatedly. Naturally, you want to have the freedom from that emotion. But at the same time, the very emotion, to be free from the emotion, creates some energy to the emotion. But here, if you give total freedom to the emotion will take freedom from itself. You need not worry about the emotions.
But to perform or to function in the physical world, you need to be free from your mind, right?
So external world is concerned, if you look at the external world, some necessary emotion will come from you. So just like the emotion of the dog, some necessary emotion come to yourself. You can make use of the emotion to deal with the situation. You need not worry about that.
After listening all your answers to the seeker's lessons, shall I ask you one thing? Like, what's the main difference between a mentally challenged person and a normal person? Like, if you are saying like accept all the things which comes to your mind.
Mentally
challenged person.
Mentally challenged. Mentally challenged means lunatic. Mentally ordinary person, we are dealing with the ordinary person. Mentally diseased person is that is a defective person. That we cannot take. That we cannot take into account. Just like animal, they cannot.
So the way he behaves, whatever comes to his mind, whatever he thinks, he speaks. Whatever the way he wants to behave, he behaves. That's what I'm saying.
So, lunatic person is not a sane person, that we cannot educate him in a proper way. So, in ordinary level, in an ordinary person, how to behave, we can understand, we can make him understand. We need not work psychologically, but you have to make use of the emotion in the external world. We can educate him in ordinary, just an ordinary person. But he himself is a problematic person, we cannot educate him. But just like a doctor, just like a physician, we can help. But just like an enlightened person, we cannot help.
Okay, if we want to do something in the external world, we are desiring with the use of our mind.
Use of the harm mind?
Our mind.
Who is dealing with the lunatic person?
If I want to do something.
So the ordinary person has to do something to the lunatic person. Just like an ordinary person, we can help the lunatic person. But we cannot educate him. We cannot make him enlightened. Because he is already defective.
Yeah, that we can do. What I'm asking is, if I want to do something in the external world, I am designing with the use of my mind.
So with the use of our mind, you can do. with the use of the mind, but all our action is with the help of the mind. With the help of the mind, we can do something. In the same way, we can, with the help of the mind, we can do something to the lunatic person also, if we want to help.
Further to his question, and as just now you told that the enlightened person cannot help the lunatic to become enlightened at that stage.
Unable to follow. Enlightened person
Cannot make a lunatic enlightened when he
we cannot make him enlightened because he is already defective.
Similarly, an enlightened person cannot do orthopedic surgery. An enlightened person cannot make a poor man into a rich man. An enlightened person, similarly, all this physical world, which is like a Swapna world you cannot treat. I cannot treat my Swapna world. Similarly, the waking world, the enlightened person cannot also treat. He just accepts. Is it right? My point of view, forgive me.
So in the physical world is concerned, the enlightened person has to behave as an ordinary person. As an ordinary person, whoever he can do, he can also do. He is not a specially blessed. He is not a specially blessed person. As an ordinary person, he can do an ordinary thing too. But the enlightened person alone can try to enlighten him. If he is capable of getting enlightenment, we can educate him to the extent of enlighten him. But the ordinary level, as an ordinary person, he can help. Oh.
I feel life is a bunch of contradictions. There is a lot of information overload, and all of us are bombarded with so many different school of thoughts and ideologies. Sometimes you need to think that to achieve something you really have to work hard. The other times you have to think that sometimes you just have to leave it to God or something that is superior to us. So then at every situation in life, how do you choose what is that guiding light that will direct you to choose an ideology that's ideal for you in a particular situation? Because it is so complex, right? There are so many directions you can take, there are so many paths you can take. But how do you know what is the right thing for you to do right now for one particular problem?
So external world is concerned, we have to follow righteousness. We have to have the right, we have to discipline in a disciplined way. We have to in a proper way. We have to do that. If you may select a job or anything, but it has some dharma, righteousness, some goodness. But in the psychological world, we need not name it any good or bad. Everything is good. So the external world is concerned, good and bad is there. We have to select the good. We have to select the correct thing. But the external world is concerned, so everything must follow the rules and principles. Some philosophy can create a good philosophy. If the old philosophy is not good to the situation, you can create a new philosophy. By the new philosophy, we can be more happier in the external world. Everything will be easy for everybody. We can have a new kind of idea, we can new kind of philosophy to deal with the external things. But psychologically, we have to give up all philosophy, because all philosophy creates more problem in the psychological world. Psychological world is concerned, we must be free from any philosophy. All philosophy is false. We have to free from every philosophy. We have to give it freedom. We should not take anything to control anything. We should not feel any regulation in the psychological world. But in the external world is concerned, we can equip ourselves in a different way, in a prosperous way. That we can do.
We have some questions. If no one is coming on the stage, then you can read out the questions. Respected sir, do we create the struggle in us by bringing emotional reactions to the thinking process? And so, are you saying that thinking has no role at all in the emotional field?
Do we create the struggle in us by bringing emotional reactions to the thinking process? And so, are you saying that thinking has no role at all in the emotional field?
Is there a state of not knowing?
Is that there's a not knowing? But thinking is always related to the external world. Thinking is not related to the psychological world. So if you give importance to the thinking to the psychological world, we have to think that we should not have any negative feelings. We must have some good emotions. That we will select something. So all thinking naturally selects something. So selection is bad in the psychological world. But in the external world is concerned, we have to select something. For that, the thinking is necessary. So thinking is always related to the external world. So if it is related to the psychological world, it is not good. Is there a state of not knowing? Not knowing means when you are in the deep sleep or in the samadhi state, there is no knowing. It is a non-knowing state, non-mind state. It is like that. But it is a yogic process where you can keep yourself in the not knowing state through some practices. That is known as samadhi state. But in the deep sleep, everybody is having the state, not knowing state. But that is not an important state. It is related to the enlightenment liberation. In the enlightenment liberation, we have to understand. The understanding is important. It is the understanding that we need not have any emotion. We need not select any emotion within ourselves. If we do not select any emotion within ourselves, we are giving freedom to the emotion. Giving freedom to the emotion ends in liberation. So if you give freedom to the emotion, all emotion meets liberation. So that is the thing.
What is the difference between nirvana state and samadhi state and enlightenment?
So there is two states are described in the scriptures as manolaya and manonasa. Manonasa means there is no state of the manovriddhi. Manovriddhi means, manonasa means there is no manovriddhi. But manovriddhi is without, if you are keeping ourselves without any vriddhi, is just like a manolaya state. Manolaya is a frozen state. So the samadhi state is also a kind of frozen state. Just like a sleep, samadhi state is also a kind of frozen state. It is also a state of manolaya. But manonasa alone is the liberation. Liberation is the free flow. There is no binding, there is no control of anything. There is the free flow of everything. So that is the mukti state, that is the liberation. Liberation is different from the samadhi state. Samadhi state is a state of yoga and it is a created state, it is a maintained state. That is a state. But the liberation is not at all a state. It is the freedom of all states. Here anything may come, but whatever comes will go away naturally. So that is a natural state. But the samadhi state is a created state. It is not a natural state. But we need not worry about the samadhi state. It is a manolaya. But our scriptures are encouraging only the manonasa state alone. It is encouraging. It is not encouraging the manolaya. So samadhi state is related to the manolaya.
Conditioned reflexes are to be minimized or reduced completely to get enlightened. Is it correct?
Conclusion?
Conditioned reflexes. The way you react. Conditioned the way you react.
Condition?
Reflexes. Reflexes is how do you react to something.
Conditioned reflections are.
Conditioned reflexes are to be minimized.
Conditioned reflections are to be maintained or minimized or reduced completely to get enlightenment. Is it not? Not necessary to be free from the emotions. So emotion is necessary. Without emotion, we cannot do anything in the external world. So some related emotion is necessary, but you need not correct in emotion. You need not be free from any emotion. So if you give freedom to the emotion will go away from you. You need not correct any emotion. You need not control any emotion within yourself. So you have to understand, you need not correct emotion. If you understand that you need not correct any emotion, all the emotion will go away on its own. Everything will disappear on its own. We need not correct anything.
Yes, sir. I'm not worried about the emotion, but if I start crying, I'm ashamed.
So the feeling of some shame is also a reaction. So when you start crying like this, you have a feeling of shame. The feeling of shame is a kind of reaction. So you need not worry about the shame. So whatever in the physical state you have to correct. But the feeling of shame is a psychological state. You need not worry about that. So if you do not find fault with this shame, if you find fault with the feeling of shame, it will go away from you very easily.
How to correlate love and emotion to attain enlightenment? Which is the right path to achieve enlightenment? Through love or service to mankind?
Selfless, love or service to mankind. So service to mankind is the sign of love. If you have the love, and that you express in the form of service, because that means if you have the love, you may have the concern with the other person. If you have the concern with the other person, naturally you will give, if you render any service to the other person. But here, everything is a reaction. Love is not a permanent thing. We cannot maintain a love. For example, if anybody criticizes you, if anybody give any torture to you, can you love the other person? So naturally hatred will be coming. So all thing is coming in your psychological world is only a reaction. Whatever will be the situation, according to the situation, related to the situation, some related emotion will come from you. Only out of the emotion, love is one of those emotions. But out of the emotions, the love may be a good one. But at the same time, even love itself is a kind of emotion. You need not maintain the love within ourselves. So, but the main thing is that you may have the understanding that it is for yourself, that to good, if you have to have the idea that you have to do some good thing to the society. So you may have the idea. You may have the idea permanently, but you cannot have the love permanently. So all love is only a reaction. If you face a situation, the situation is a lovable situation, naturally a feeling of love will come from yourself. But out of some many emotion, the love may be considered as a good emotion. But we need not maintain any emotion for ourselves. Whatever comes will go away naturally. But at the same time, you may have a good idea. You may have a good idea for yourself. Thereby you can have a idea that you can do some good thing to the society, good thing to the other people. That you can have the idea. But all emotion has to come and go naturally. If it is lost forever, that creates many problems for yourself. So keeping any good emotion for yourself is also creates some harm to yourself. Actually, whether it may be in the form of love or in the form of hatred, whatever it be, it has to come and go. You can make use of that. Even hatred is also helpful. You can, for example, if you create if any person creates some nuisance in the society, you can have a hatred upon the person. For that, you can positively use the hatred to the society. Thereby, you can eliminate the bad situation. For that, hatred is necessary. But if you have the love upon the some unnecessary person, then thereby you are encouraging the bad situation. So in that sense, everything in a positive way you have to make use of the situation. For psychological world is concerned, we have to free from emotion. Whatever comes, let it come. The next moment it has to go away from yourself. Before that, if it is necessary to deal with the situation, you can make use of that. For that, you can make use of. Otherwise, you need not correct any emotion. You need not clear any emotion from yourself. Okay, thank you all. Tomorrow morning we can come, and tomorrow the first session will have the topic related to who am I. In that topic we have discussed about what is Atma, what is consciousness, and the next one is the confirmation. In between we can have any time, we can have some other topic also. Otherwise, we can end up with the confirmation session.
Yeah, for tomorrow, the last books book after afternoon. So we're going to start the session a bit early. Tomorrow we are planning to start by 10 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock sharp. The program will be started tomorrow. Right? Thanks for coming.